Hi there, and welcome to A&P with Dr. O. Now we are ready to talk about stratified squamous epithelium. So far, the tissues we've discussed have been simple, meaning one layer. Now that it's stratified, we are going to have many layers. And then the second part of the term is still going to give us an idea about cell shape. We're going to be looking at those squished cells again, those squamous cells again, except instead of in a single layer, we're going to have many layers of squamous shaped cells. I have two images because stratified squamous epithelium can be keratinized. And that just means it contains the protein keratin. We'll talk a lot more about that in this course because we are going to talk a lot about the skin. And that's where we would find keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. The other image shows non-keratinized, which means that there will not be any keratin in this type of stratified squamous epithelium. This then would be found lining the mouth, lining the throat, lining the esophagus, and in fact, the location here for this particular one is the lining of the esophagus. But again, you can also find stratified squamous epithelium lining the throat, lining the mouth, lining the rectum, lining the anus, and lining the vagina. Really, any place where we have mechanical stresses, we'll find stratified squamous epithelium. It provides physical protection against abrasion, pathogens, and chemical attack. Let's get our bearings here. We want to find our apical or free surface. That's how we can easily locate our epithelium. And that's what we see here, and we can also see it over here as well. That means that this is going to be our epithelium because it's going to be facing that free surface. Same thing over here. We have our epithelial tissue. It kind of dips down into the connective tissue a little bit, but this entire segment here, and then this entire segment here, I'll draw like a little bracket for us. So these segments are going to show the stratified squamous epithelium. And then we can see again this line between the epithelium and the underlying connective tissue. I'll just write CT for short. So this is going to be the basal surface. Same thing over here between the epithelium and the connective tissue. We have the basal surface or the basal lamina. And we know that when the basal lamina and reticular lamina come together, then this is where we're going to find the basement membrane. So this right here on the basal side will help us find our basement membrane. And again, that's important because then we know where we're attaching the epithelial tissue to the underlying connective tissue. Again, we can find a nucleus. Here's one right there, but we can find several. Again, they're generally oval in shape. They usually stain darker. Over here, we can see them as well. So there's one right here. And again, we can see several throughout here as well. Now, because we have many layers, what happens is as these new cells are being produced, because with epithelial tissue, that's another characteristic, is it's always regenerating. And as we're making new cells on the basal side, we push the older cells up and up and up and up. And as we push those older cells up, they really begin to flatten. And they really take on that squished or squamous-like shape, especially once they get closer to that apical surface or that free surface. Oh, excuse me. Pop us back here. But there's our stratified squamous epithelium.